Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Elden Ring and I'm going to be showing you the top 11 best quality hammers in the game. So this is the list just for people who want to use strength and dexterity or a combination of the two. So no intelligence, no arcane, and no faith requirements out of all of the hammers in the game. These are the 11 that fit that description the best, and I will be ranking them in order from worst to best and also showing you the exact location of how to get them, at least whenever that's possible. So we're going to be starting off with number 11, the club. So this is the basic bonking stick. Looks real simple, not really much to say about it. As far as attributes required to use this one, just 10 for strength, no other requirements. And in that same vein, we're going to have a B rating for attribute scaling and strength. So it actually scales rather well with strength. This one for attack power, when maxed out like this, has an attack power of 497, so nothing too crazy impressive. But considering it's just a stick, that's probably not too bad. We also have the ability to upgrade it using Ashes of War, but it does start with the Barbaric Roar weapon art. So, not too bad as far as starting weapons go, or I guess weapons if you just want to bonk your way through the game. In style, the standard club is probably the most stylish way to do that. As far as how to get this weapon, there are two different ways to go, or at least, no, there are three different ways. So, A, if you start out as a wretch, you'll just start with this weapon, so that's one way to get it. Or B, you can drop it, you can fight demi-humans to get it, and so you'll find a bunch of demi-humans in the, over here in the Weeping Peninsula, anywhere basically in the woods, there's all over the place. Any demi-human enemies that wield this, which there are quite a few, have a chance to drop it. And they're not just here, they're all over the map. There's a bunch of them up in Mount Gelmir as well. Anywhere where you find a demi-human wielding a club, if you kill them, they might drop it. The most consistent way to get it, if you didn't start as a wretch, is down here by the coastal cave in Liurnia. So there's the Church of Ela. Now we're at the coastal cave. If you just head to the southeast over here, there will be a nomadic merchant sitting under this collapsed piece of rubble. And so you can purchase it from him for 600 runes. So pretty simple to get in the game. If you started as a wretch, you can come here right away and actually get a second one. So then you'll have two clubs to pound your way through the game with. But that's number 11, the club. Let's move on to number 10. So next up at number 10, we have the Warpick, which is a pretty fun looking weapon. It looks like a, well, I mean, it looks like a Warpick. It's a real historical weapon. And this is actually pretty dang close to what it looked like, or at least in some of the photos that I was able to find. So pretty cool looking from that perspective. As far as our attributes required to use it, it's going to be 11 for strength and 9 for dexterity, and we're going to have a D rating for scaling in both dexterity and strength. For our attack power when maxed out on this one, it is 543. This one has the kick weapon art, which just means that you kick, which I guess could be useful if you're trying to break a block or something like that, but nothing too impressive. But it can be upgraded using Ashes of War, so you can make it whatever you want. And so here's what a kick looks like. There you go. So as far as how to get this one, it is a random drop from Godric soldiers that wield this weapon. And so anywhere where there's Godric soldiers, there's usually going to be at least one that wields this weapon, but the best spot for consistency is over here. If you start from the gate front site of Grace and you make your way up past the archers and trolls, there will be two Godric soldiers hiding in the bushes that actually wield this weapon. And so they're a pretty consistent way of trying to grind it out. So let me just show you where they are. You'll find this Horn guy standing here, and then there's some guys in the bushes that wield this weapon. So you see, this guy's got one. This guy doesn't, but he's not the same one. But this one over here also wields it. And so you can just loot and hopefully find it on one of their bodies. I'm surprised all three of these guys dropped something. I don't have a very high arcane level. But anyway, so right here is the best spot, at least early game, for trying to grind out to get the Warpick. And yeah, so you just kill them until you get it. So that's number 10. Let's move on to number 9. And so next up at number 9, we have the curved club, which is just a slight variation on the timeless classic of the club. This one is curved, so it looks like a knobbly piece of root. As far as our attributes required to use this one, 11 for strength and 7 for dexterity. Dexterity scaling of D and strength of C. For our attack power on the curved club, we have 577, so a decent step above the Warpick. This one has the Barbaric Roar weapon art, and which is the same as the club. And then it can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So now we're starting to get into the more serious bonking weapons that everyone enjoys. So as far as getting this one goes, you can loot it off of Albinorics that wield it. So we're over here in Liurnia at the Academy Gate Town, and you'll find a number of the Albinorics running around here. And there are ones that wield shields and curved clubs, and they're the ones you're going to look for. So you can see, there's one right there. The club looks bigger in his hands, but trust me, it's the same weapon. He did a cool cartwheel and hit you with it. But yeah, these two standing right here are basically your best bet for grinding out to get this club because they're real close to the site of grace and there's no other enemies around here. So you spawn on the other side of this building, come around here, kill these guys, keep doing it until you get the club. So that is the curved club and where to get it. So now let's move on to number 8. So next up at number 8, we have the Mace, which is just personally one of my favorite looking weapons in the game. It's slightly oversized, but other than that, just basically a perfect replica of an actual historical flanged mace, which I'm a big fan of and I love using it. So even though it's not the best club in the game, it's still one of my favorites. As far as attributes required to use this one, strength of 12, dexterity of 7, and for attribute scaling, we've got a D rating for dexterity and C for strength. Our attack power on the mace is 605, so a decent leap above the curved club, so pretty dang good compared to the first couple we looked at on this list. This one also starts off with just the kick weapon art, and it can be upgraded using Ashes of War, so an excellent weapon overall. And as far as getting this one, pretty dang easy. We're going to get it down here in the round table hold at the Table of Lost Grace. Once you get here, you can boogie on over to the Twin Maiden Husks off to the left side of the round table hold, and you'll be able to purchase it from her. Or them. And so you can see it's right here. The mace can be purchased for 800 runes. Pretty straightforward and simple, but that's how you get it. So that is number 8. Let's move on to number 7. All right, and so the one that comes in at number 7 is another one of my favorites, not for accuracy this time, just because I think it looks pretty cool, and it is the Monk's Flamemace, which is a pretty fun-looking weapon. It basically just looks like a bunch of metal cut in the shape of flames. As far as attributes required to use this one, it's going to be 13 for strength and 13 for dexterity, and it's going to have a C rating for dexterity scaling and D for strength, so it will scale better with dexterity than strength. For our attack power in the Monk's Flamemace, we have 629, so not bad there. This one also starts with the kick weapon art, but it can be upgraded using Ashes of War, so you can make it whatever you want. Might I recommend some sort of a flame affinity, because that would probably just fit it the best. As far as how to get this one, it is a random drop from the fire monk enemies that wield this one, and so you can find them all over the map. You'll find some over here at the Seathwater Terminus. If you start from there, you go up to Fort Lade. There's one standing there who wields it. You'll find them elsewhere throughout Liurny of the Lakes and the mountaintops of the Giants. One great place to go where there's quite a few of them is going to be the Guardian's Garrison here, so you start from the White Ridge Road or the Giant's Grave Post, Site of Grace, and you go to the Guardian's Garrison. There's like a half dozen of them here that wield it, but personally my favorite place to grind it out is over here in the mountaintops of the Giants region at the Giant Conquering Hero's Grave. So you can see I'm here right next to the Site of Grace. The reason I like this one is because there's one right down this hallway, so you can very quickly get to it from the Site of Grace, kill it, and there's no other enemies that you have to worry about. Well, I mean, there's one other enemy, but see, so he's standing right here. So you just beat him up with it, or whatever you're using, until you kill him. Ooh, and we pillage his corpse. And look at that, Monk's Flame Mace. So I don't know if it's guaranteed drop on him from the first try, or if it's just a good spot, but that's where I recommend going, just because it's a real easy place to go ahead and grab it. So yeah, that is number 7, the Monk's Flame Mace. Like I said, we're up here in the mountaintops of the Giants region at the Giant Conquering Hero's Grave. You just start from the Site of Grace, go down here, kill the monk that wields it there, and, you know, for me, he dropped it right then and there. It might be a guaranteed drop. I don't know for sure. That is the Monk's Flame Mace. Let's move on to number 6. All right, so at number 6, we have the hammer, which is just a big old rock-looking hammer thing. I actually kind of like it. It looks pretty cool. So for attributes required to use this one, it's going to be 14 for strength and 7 for dexterity. Our scaling is going to be C for both, or just for strength, and D for dexterity. The attack power for the hammer at maxed out is 640, so not bad at all there. It starts off with the kick weapon art, but you can upgrade it using Ashes of War, so you can make it into whatever you want. Might I recommend a lightning fortification on it. Quite fun to roleplay as Thor. I think that this hammer is the closest you can come if you've put the lightning onto it. It's the closest as you can come to Thor. As far as where to get this one, you have to come over here into the Lindell Capital region, and you can see where I've got the marker here. That's where we're going to be headed. So if we start from the West Capital Ramparts Site of Grace, we're going to hop down onto these. Whoops, I fell. Okay, good, I didn't die. We're going to hop down onto the rooftops down below, and then we're going to run through this little section over here looking for this busted down stable, and then we're going to hop up on top of the roof over here. Once we get up on here, we're going to run and hop up on this next roof, up over the crumbling wall, through this little doorway, and then to the left. And so you can tell that it's kind of like Round Table Hold, except different, and there's nobody here. So what we're going to be looking for is right here where the blacksmith would normally be sitting, and you'll be able to, well, that would be the Sanctified Whetstone, which apparently I already have a full inventory of, but it should be sitting right here somewhere. So normally it'll be, I don't know, it might be right on the ground right here, might be on this corpse dangling off the thing? I can't remember, but it's right here in this room. You can pick up this hammer. So all you have to do is make your way to this region. Then once you're inside, up at least up as far as the West Capital Ramparts, it's pretty easy. You just have to go into the fortified manor. And like I said, it's right here somewhere. That's the Sanctified Whetstone, which you're going to want if you want to be able to put the holy affinities on your weapons when you're upgrading them with Ashes of War. But if you want this hammer, it's right in here somewhere. So that is number 6, the hammer. Let's move on to number 5. So at number 5, we have the stone club. So it looks a lot like the initial club, except it's either made entirely out of stone or at least coated in stone. I like to go with made entirely out of, because it would make it very fragile and also very heavy. But anyway, so appearance-wise, it looks pretty normal. As far as our attributes required to use this one, 16 strength, 8 dexterity. It has an E rating for dexterity scaling, but B for strength. So this one actually scales very well with strength. So pretty dang good there. As far as our attack power on the stone club goes, we have 641, so just slightly better than the hammer. This one also starts out with the kick for the weapon art, and it can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So all the good stuff. As far as where to get this one, it is a random drop from battle mages that wield it. And so the best one that I can come up with is over here in Caelid. So we're up here at the Church of the Plague, and so we're going to want to run out to, well, towards the Celia Hideaway. There's a grave where one of these guys is standing. So basically, you just have to keep killing him until he eventually drops it, but he's not a very difficult enemy to fight, and like I said, it's pretty close to the site of grace. So as far as weapon grinding goes, it's not actually as annoying as it could be. So you go under this little hoop of root here, and you'll see him standing back there by the grave. All you have to do is get up by him and kill him, and he has a chance of dropping it. See, he's wielding it right now. Ouch, he headbutted me. But yeah, so you'll see where I am right on the map, right next to this little road here by the grave. This guy here has a chance to drop it. There's also at least one over in the Academy Crystal Cave, but I think this one is a better option because you can get to it right away without ever going through Stormvale or using the little path to jump around the side. Other than the creatures right in front of the church that you can totally avoid like I did, there's no enemies between the site of grace and him, so you can just keep spawning in, running back, and killing him until eventually he will drop the stone club. So that is number 5, the stone club, and how to get it. Let's move on to number 4. Alright, so at number 4 we have by far the most ridiculous weapon on this list, and it's the ringed finger. So look at this thing, it's just real stupid looking. It's a big finger, so it actually has a pretty cool special attack, not that it's very useful, just that it's kind of fun. But yeah, so this is number 4. As far as attributes required to use it, 15 strength, 9 dexterity, and for our scaling it's going to have a D rating for dex and B for strength, so this one is also going to scale much better with strength than dexterity. And for our attack power on this one, it's 680, so almost 40 points better than the stone club, so it is a significant step up. That being said, it cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War, but you do have the Claw Flick special attack, which I'm sure everyone is a big fan of. It basically engorges it and does a big old flick. So it's pretty fun to use against small, low-level enemies because you can, like, flick them away. In that regard, it's pretty fun to use, but it's mostly a gimmick because in a lot of combat situations, it's just not going to be that effective. As far as how to get this one, you have to make your way up here to the Mount Gelmir subregion of the Altus Plateau and make your way over here to the Gelmir Hero's Grave. Once you're in here, it's a simple process of making your way through the cave to the chest where this is hidden. So I'm just going to run through the path and show you it now. And so once you've made your way down through there and through the lava, you come into this here room, and you can open up this chest and pick it up there. So that's number 4, the ringed finger. Let's move on to number 3. All right, and so at number 3, we have the Nox FLOWING HAMMER, which you can see we have here. It's just a big old metal-looking ball on the end of a kind of bent stick. I think it actually looks pretty dang cool. Obviously, the head's quite a bit big, but, you know, what are you going to do? As far as attributes required to use this one, 17 for strength and 7 for dexterity, a D rating for dexterity scaling, and a B rating for strength scaling. Our attack power on this one is 715 when all the way maxed out, and it cannot be upgraded with Ashes of War, but it does have the flowing form weapon art, which is pretty good. It gives you a great big ranged swinging attack that you can hit most enemies with twice. Obviously, it does a big circle around you, so you have potential to hit many enemies at once. It can be useful. There's obviously things that I would prefer being able to do, so I like the ability to just upgrade it myself, but this one does come with a static weapon art. As far as where to get this one, it's going to be down here in the Siofra River region. So to get here, you need to have fought Star Scourge Radahn, and the meteorite will come down, crash over into here, and you'll be able to get down into the Siofra River area from the Night Sacred Ground site of Grace. You're going to go up right here, up this staircase and into the room here. There's going to be enemies in here that we're going to just either fight or run past, but I'm just going to run past them because they don't seem to be all that aggressive yet. And so we're going to climb up this ladder here at the end. He did manage to hit me. I thought I'd gotten away from the tier ball. But then once you get up through here, you're going to turn right at the altar and go down this little hallway. You don't have to go all the way to the end. We're going to be hopping out this window. Then you're going to want to run and jump so you can jump the gap. There's going to be this one tier enemy that we can stop and kill here, which we did in one hit, which is nice. Go up the roof here to the right. And through here, you'll find this guy dangling off the ledge, and you'll grab the Nox FLOWING HAMMER from him. So that is how you get the Nox FLOWING HAMMER. So again, pretty straightforward process once you've gotten down to the Siofra River region. And once you do, you can get your hands on this mace, which is pretty dang good. So that's number 3, the Nox FLOWING HAMMER. Let's move on to number 2. All right, and so at number 2, we've got my personal favorite hammer in the game, the Morning Star. Now, I just absolutely love this one. Now, obviously, it's a bit ahistorical just given the size and proportions of it, but such things did exist in history. Just, you know, proportions would have been slightly different. So this is actually one of my favorite for appearances and also performance. Because for attributes required on this one, it's 12 for strength and 8 for dexterity, so nothing crazy there. Attribute scaling is C for strength and D for dexterity, so it scales better with strength than dex. We do have a passive effect on this one, and that is that it causes a 50-point blood loss buildup, which is excellent. For our attack power on the Morning Star, it is 601, so lower than the last couple that we covered on this list, but we do have that additional bleed ability on it, and it can be upgraded using Ashes of War, so I absolutely love it. In fact, what I like to do for this one is to put a Blood Affinity Wild Strikes on it, and boy is it an effective weapon then. So as far as where to get this weapon goes, you can pick it up pretty early in the game. We're down here in the Weeping Peninsula of Limgrave. If you start from the Bridge of Sacrifice and you make your way down this main road towards the Morn Castle at the end, or Castle Morn, you'll find this little overgrown cave kind of section where I'm standing here, and you'll see the Broken Hearse, and that's what we're going to want to go for. So there are a number of low-level enemies around here, but nothing that's ultimately too concerning. So we'll kill this Yapper here, and there's a Godric soldier that we can take out. And then right here in the back of the hearse, you'll find a chest, which you can loot the Morning Star from. So that is how and where you get this. Again, we're right here on the map. It's in the back of this hearse. So pretty simple and straightforward process, and in my opinion, you can grab the best hammer in the game, or at least my personal favorite. But now let's move on to the actual number 1 spot on this list. So finally at number 1, we have the Spiked Club, which doesn't look all that special, but it is actually in a tremendously good club as far as quality type weapons in the game go. So it just looks like the normal club, but with maybe some teeth or something stuck on it that make it kind of look jagged. As far as attributes required to use this one, 12 for strength, 7 for dexterity, has a C rating in both strength and dex scaling, so it scales relatively well with both of them. We do have another passive effect, just like the Morning Star. This one has 50 points of blood loss buildup, so we do have another one that causes bleed. And just like the Morning Star, this one's attack power is slightly lower than the last couple on this list, but I think the additional bleed buildup makes up for it. This one's attack power being 626 when maxed out. This one has the Barbaric Roar weapon art when you first start off with it, but you can upgrade it with Ashes of War. Again, I would say the same thing as the Morning Star. I would go with the bleed affinity for the Wild Strikes Ash of War, and it just makes it into an immensely great weapon. Now, this one does not have a set location, but you can farm it by killing the larger demi-humans that wield this one, and so there are a number of spots to do this. The best spot, in my opinion, is over here by Volcano Cave. So the reason this one's great is because you can just spawn at the site of Grace and then run outside, and you'll be able to fight one immediately because it's real close by. So, see? So you just keep running out here and killing that enemy right there, just the big one, and then reloading the Site of Grace and killing him over and over and over again. Eventually, he will drop this weapon, and of course you can keep grinding it until you've got 2 of them if you want. That is overall, in my opinion, the most efficient way to grind it. So that is the last of all of the quality clubs in this game, one of my favorite weapon types in the game, and if you don't want to have magic, arcane, or intelligence, or I should say if you don't want to have intelligence, arcane, or faith weighing down your skill points, you just use strength and dexterity, and you wanted to use hammers, well, these are the 11 best ones for you in that situation and how to find them. So that's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.